Lincoln, what was it that finally necessitated the decision in your mind to let Alex go?
Yeah, watched the game Saturday night, slept on it, and thought about it a lot throughout the night. Didn't sleep much. Thought about it a little bit more Sunday morning, and just felt like it was the best interest of our program, both for this year because we still have a lot to play for. We still have a really cool opportunity in front of us, and for the future that we needed to make the change, and we just. We simply weren't making the progress I think that we all expected that we would make. It's tough because these decisions, when you make them, there's no guarantees in this game. I mean, we're 2 football snaps away from being undefeated in this conference right now. You never know exactly how these things are going to go. Alex is a great coach, a great person. He's proven that a lot throughout his career. I'm disappointed that it didn't work here. I know he is as well. But we've got to move on. We're going to move on. Excited for Coach Nua and Coach Odom, their opportunity. Excited for Taylor Mays. Excited for our team. We got a big-time challenge, but a big-time opportunity right in front of us here with these last 2 games. And we win these 2, we could put ourselves in a pretty cool position. And so that's our focus, my focus going forward. If we were in a situation where we didn't have a whole lot left to play for in terms of a conference championship and having an opportunity there, it might feel a little bit different. But we are very laser focused on these opportunities ahead, and then whatever comes next after that, we'll deal with it at the appropriate time.
What do you think explains the difference between the expectations you had, the confidence you had in the defense and Alex, and how it played out? What explains the difference?
Yeah, it's a tough question. The bottom line is it didn't get to where any of our players, any of us expected, and we all take ownership in that. Listen, that's the nature of the beast here, and I certainly am not. And our players, the rest of our staff, certainly not laying all the blame at Alex because the reality is I have a role in that. The other defensive assistants have a role in that. Our players have a role in that. Our other staff members, everybody has a role in it. And so if it goes well, that's great. And if it doesn't go up to the expectations, then changes are going to be made, adjustments are going to be made, and that's just part of the business. And so I think I have some thoughts of why. I don't know that this is the appropriate time to jump into all that. We're getting ready to go play a really important football game. But obviously, as we once the season wraps up and we look forward to preparing for next year in the future, those are questions that we'll have to answer to make sure that we're heading in the right direction, obviously, for the future of this program.
Lincoln, what was your overall thoughts on Zach Grinch's tenure here as the defensive coordinator?
What's that?
What was your overall thoughts of Zach Grinch's tenure here?
Alex Grinch?
Alex Grinch.
Yeah. Well, first, I mean, SC Trojan fans should know he's one of the first people to say yes and get on the plane. And he wanted to be here and saw the potential and believed in this place as much as I did. And I think that ought to be appreciated. Second, he was a part of the greatest turnaround in this school's history. And that should be appreciated. I know things defensively through the end of last year and throughout the season, especially kind of from mid-season on, have not been what either one of us wanted. And that's obviously why we're here today, so I think that says enough.
Lincoln, was this a decision that came primarily from within the football program? Was there input from a athletic department standpoint? Did it come from you specifically?
It was my decision.
With the portal opening in the month and recruiting, early signing period 2 weeks after that, does that kind of dictate the timeline for the search?
It's something you're aware of. You can't avoid it. But I'm not going to sacrifice anything for getting the right person. That's the most important thing. These are decisions that have a long-ranging impact on our program, and it's a decision you don't make lightly in the first place. And then as we decide future course, we're obviously not going to take that lightly either. And so we'll pay attention to obviously the recruiting and how that goes, and communicating with our recruits, which we've had a chance to do with a lot of them up to this point. We'll do more. But nothing will trump getting the right person in here, because we're going to play great defense here. Like, period. It's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. There's no reason in the world why it can't. And obviously, a key is getting that next person in here. But also a key is, like I said, all of us, myself, players, other staff members, everyone that's a part of this thing going forward has got to own their part of it as well.
What do you think about making that hire? What are some of the factors you think will be important, or that you're looking for, I guess, when you look ahead?
I definitely get the question. I honestly, just with the week ahead, and really the next couple of weeks ahead, don't know that I want to just start laying out a bunch of specifics. I know, obviously, I will. Obviously, I've in the last several hours, I've spent a little bit of time thinking about it. Majority of my time is obviously getting ready to go play Oregon. I think, very simply put, though, I think what I said before, our goal here is to be an elite defense, one that is a huge part of this team, that is the strength of this program, is one that leads us to championship opportunities year in and year out. And finding the right person to help get that done is certainly where it'll start.
How do you balance the next 2 weeks of coaching this team and list the other candidates? Do you
99% coaching this team. Maybe when I get a few minutes here and there, spending a few minutes thinking about it, putting together a little bit of thought. But again, it'd be different if we were sitting here in a different position. But the reality is, you win these 2 games, this thing gets pretty interesting pretty quick. Just look at the standings, and this team's capable of it. And I told them this morning, it's in the team meeting after gave them the news. I said, look, guys, it's our feet are planted forward right now, focused on these next 2 weeks and being the very best that we can and rallying from this. And so if I'm going to ask our team to do that, then I better be doing the same thing myself.
Lincoln, you touched on this just a little bit already, but obviously we're close with Alex and have a strong relationship with him, and just to it's tough to make that decision. To as hard as it was, how hard was it on you?
It sucks.
And moving forward?
Yeah, it sucks. It's I've been very lucky. I've had great staff members, in the time that I've been a head coach, that have supported me. Alex being one of those. We won a lot of games, a lot of championships, did a lot of great things together. And he's a good friend. He's got a great family. I mean, shoot, our kids are close. There ain't nothing easy about it, and you can't, as much as you wish you could. Sometimes it's hard to separate, professional from just, I think, just basic kind of human feelings about one another and their families. So, I knew it was a decision that was the right decision at this time and point, but certainly didn't make it easy. But I am that committed, and we are all that committed to playing great defense here, and whatever it takes to get that done, that's what we're going to do.
What'd you tell the other defensive assistants? Because obviously their future now is a little bit in jeopardy.
Yeah, the same thing I'm telling myself, and the same thing telling our players, is stay focused on the present. It's easy for me to lay it out for them, because I got my first opportunity to call plays, and probably a sequence of events I didn't know at the time, but that changed my life. And honestly, I'm probably not sitting here talking to you guys today without that happening when Mike got fired at Texas Tech and I got a chance to call it the first time. I mean, that totally changed my trajectory. And these adversity like this can also bring about some of the best opportunities in somebody's life if you view it that way. And and I shared that with our defensive assistants. I shared that with Brian. I shared that with Sean. I shared that with Taylor. I mean, we got a great opportunity right here. The hell with everything else right now. Let's go get in the bunker right now and just circle the wagons and just go at it here for a couple weeks and see what happens, and we'll figure out the rest after that.
Has the staff decided who's going to call defensive plays?
We have. I'm not gonna. I understand why you'd ask the question. There's of no benefit of me, for me or for the program, to announce that. But obviously, the staff is having a lot of input, Sean and Brian will take the lead there.
Coach, how's this situation compelling you to grow?
It always does. I mean, football, this sport continually challenges you. I mean, you never get to the point, I think, where you've seen it all, and I think you're constantly pushing yourself to grow and learn, just like you're wanting everybody else in the program to do as well. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's these situations keep challenging me, and I know I've got to continue to get better. I've got to continue to grow. I've got to continue to learn to help put this program in the best position I can. That's my job, and that's what I'm going to keep doing.
Let's do one more.
Expanding on that question, what do you feel like you've learned about having a successful defense, or what it takes to have the defense that you say USC will have?
I know what it looks like. I know what the change can look like, and like I said, ironically, Alex was a huge part of that. I mean, I watched a defense when we took over at OU that was not the strength of the program, and then I watched in a matter of several months it become the strength of the program. And the chief reason why the last 3 years the majority of those wins came on the heels of how well we played defensively. And so, it's great football is great football. And it takes the same thing, whether it's special teams, whether it's offense, whether it's defense. It takes a system that fits the players. It takes a culture. It takes the right kind of players. It takes the coaches all on the same page. Like if you have leaks, if you have weaknesses, you're going to get exposed at some point, like on any side of the ball. And you've got to do your best to plug those leaks, to not have weaknesses, and make as many strengths as you possibly can, whether it be roster, whether it be culture, whether it be schematics, whether it be fundamentals, whether it be communication. I mean, it's all got to be right there, especially with the competition that we play, especially when you're going through a stretch of games like we're going through right now. Like that's just the nature of the beast. So I know well enough to know what we're capable of here on all of those fronts. And again, I have complete belief, conviction, like we will play great defense here. It is going to happen. There's not a reason in the world why it can't. We'll continue to take the steps that we have to do it, and we're going to be very aggressive that way.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.